Hello, everyone. It's Robin and Heidi. We're back to do another talk with Athena in Truth. We're again open to questions. If anybody wants to email questions to Heidi at Athena in Truth, you are always welcome to do that, and we'll try to answer them during these YouTube interviews. Today's topic that we wanted to discuss was about creating, how you can create with ease or you can create with difficulty. But before we go into that, I just wanted to talk to Athena in Truth a little bit about the lunar eclipse we just had. I've talked to some people who have shared my experience that I just felt rather icky for a few days. I couldn't put my finger on why. I was doing great, and then all of a sudden I just had this feeling of just stuck energy from my neck to the bottom of my belly, and I just felt icky, and I felt terrible about myself. I felt like I was thinking I was this rotten piece of garbage, basically. So I'm just wondering if you could offer anything to our listeners about that.
We are laughing a little bit, Heidi, and we are so impressed really by your vulnerability and your capability, let's use that term, to really lay yourself bare or open to the public and let them know exactly what it was that you were feeling. Yes. And Robin would agree with you that it was a difficult period of time for her. And she noticed it a little bit in her grandkids who would have no awareness at all of this red moon or full moon that was super moon, we would call it, that you were all experiencing on the earth plane. We want humans to know that you are very much tied into your moon and your astrology. We are never going to deny that fact, that it is definitely something that is used to cause movement. You see it in your oceans. Yes, it is part of that, the moon phases. So what we want to explain to you is that when these times come, and they will come and go, that it isn't necessarily about you personally, that there is a lot going on your earth plane right now, and that this wave, would like to use that term because the moon affects waves, pressured or pulled into your environment, and it is part of what you were feeling. Now, humans all the time, whenever they don't feel good, they want to attribute it to themselves, really. But Heidi, you in particular, we're going to use you as an example, and Robin, yes, and several other of her family members and your family members are what is known as empaths or sensitives. So for you, you're going to feel it much more deeply, much more impactingly than someone who does not have this way or ability about them. So we want you to know really that the reason you couldn't put your thumb on it or finger on it was because it wasn't necessarily yours, but it was an energy that you were feeling that is going throughout mass consciousness as this moon phase is used as a vehicle in order to move energy, you see. And what you were feeling was some of the thick or stuck or old patterns that are very prevalent upon your earth plane that are now gradually, we would say, being moved out or cleared out of your environment.
Okay. So if you were someone who didn't experience that, why would that be?
Yes, we made the delineation really, or the difference that you are sensitive, you are one that feels everything, yes, and Robin is sane. And we're not saying that other humans don't feel, but when someone isn't necessarily consciously aware of the energy that is around them, or they are not focused upon it, let's use that term, they are not going to be as subjected to it. Oftentimes, the humans that are vibrating at the level of perception carry a higher vibratory rate, and they are much more useful to the moon and to the all that is consciousness to assist in moving that energy out. And it is one of the reasons we hate to tell you you were chosen. It is a combination of you choosing and all that is choosing, but you are one of the ones who was processing or having awareness of, let's use that term, of this negative form, energy form that was being pushed out or cleansed out of your environment.
Okay. So do we see this kind of resolving rather quickly. I seem
Yeah.
to be feeling better, and
Yeah.
I think
You have
Robin is also.
already moved out of that moon phase that was
Yeah,
stuck. I believe it was in the Scorpio. Is this what it was? Yes, I
yeah,
believe.
yep,
And this is what was more the cause of the energy that you were feeling. It is now moved into another phase or planetary alignment. And so you will not be subjected to the negativity that you were feeling during those days. We would tell humans that when they do feel negativity and they do not find a source or cause to it, that oftentimes you can look to your astrology and see what it is that is going on in the moon phase, how it is possible that it is pressuring you and that you are feeling it, and then to just release it and not attach to it. Humans have a way about them. Whenever they have a negative emotion or feeling, they immediately own it or become it. Yes, it's what we call becoming the human. Yes, you become stuck or lodged in the feeling and start to recycle it over and over again in your body. And even Heidi, even though this feeling did not apply to you, we would like you to use the opportunity next time to use your will to pull yourself out of it, to decide not to recycle it over and over and feel it. Yes, you kind of succumb to it or gave into it. Let's use that to try to lift yourself out of it by taking a hot bath, yes, going to talk to a friend, perhaps you do a little shopping trip or something that will elevate you a little bit, that you consciously make some type of an attempt to move yourself the negativity that you are experiencing.
Sure. Yep, that's a good idea. All right, so why don't we get into the topic of today, how you would create with ease or difficulty. Can you explain that to everyone?
Every human is creating really from their perception and then from what they believe about what it is they perceive. And then what they are going to receive on the earth plane will be directly tied into this. And a human can't really blame themselves 100% because you have your family lineage. Yes, you have your life experience presently, and you have many other things that are contributing to how it is that you are going to perceive the environment that you have placed yourself in, you see. And so as you view our world and as you perceive it based upon what you have already seen from your parents, what you've already felt through your lineage, yes, and then you yourself, what you have decided to work on in the blueprint that is you, that you have come and decided to work on. All of these things are part of this mixed up bag or thing that you will be accessing while you are on the earth plane. So if a human comes to the earth plane and they have had parents who have worked very hard physically and they have struggled and they have worried about money, but yet they have scratched their way through it, they have kind of made a good way for themselves, then this is the belief system that you as a human will hold. But every human is different and every human has a different blueprint. And this is how we would explain to you that some humans can have that experience and they can rise above it. They can decide that they are not going to, it will be a propelling mechanism that they will use to be different or to transcend it. But then others will use the same scenario, yes, and become a victim to it and decide that they are destined to it because what they have viewed and believed, yes, and they are not able to create the life that they're really wanting. Now, you'll get some of the things you want, of course, in this struggle. And we would tell you that many use upset, they use anger, they use all kinds of things to move energy because it is all a creative value. We would tell you whether you are getting really upset about something or whether you are really happy about something, both are releasing a charge of energy to all that is. And we have told you over and over again that the greater part of you and all that is has expanded because of the experience that you have chosen to experience in the human form that you are in. So there's no downside, but the downside is that it is very hard on the unit of the human when they are in negativity. Their manifestations are slowed. They do not get things as quickly, so it makes them more of a victim. They start to not believe they are the creators that they are. So if you could choose that you're going to do this in a different way, that you're going to do it more from knowing, more from positivity, more from your power, and that you can really understand that you are the creator of your experience and that nobody or nothing is holding you back except for you. Now, we're not blaming you because we know you have these extenuating circumstances that have caused you to form the perceptions that you have. But what we're really doing in the transmissions that we are giving through Robin is we want you to let go of that and we want you to move into the self yourself. We want you to move into the power. We want you to know and understand that you are the God, you are the creator, and that all of these other little things, yes, we will call them, what do you call it when a little girl has little pigtails and little decorations upon her body? That's all these are. These perceptions and beliefs they are nothing more than little mechanisms or little devices or little adornments, let's use that term, that you have allowed to put all over your body to portray to someone that this is what you are and who you are. We want you to get rid of all of it. We want you to just not worry about what your lineage was. We don't want you to worry about whether you came from poverty or not. None of it matters. You're it. You're the same. Every single one of you, without those beliefs, without those perceptions, is a powerful creator that can have anything they want in their life. And this is our main goal. When we tell you you can do it with ease, how much easier can it be than that? How much easier can we make it for you when we tell you you're doing all of it? Are you going to believe something else is responsible, something outside of yourself? Somehow your parents have tainted you. Somehow something else has caused the creation that is you. It is not true. We want you to really embody this. We want you to get it with everything within yourself so that you can create this wonderful experience that you're wanting to have, and that you can once and for all let go of the idea that you are destined to difficulty. You are not. You are choosing it.
Yeah. So if you take a few people from the same family and you have one, say, child that is very good at just releasing anything negative and always looking at the positive side and creating and manifesting wonderfully, and then another child that's the opposite way, is that having to do with taking on different lineages separately? Is it anything to do with the birth signs they came in for? Like, what is the reason why one would be able to do it so well and the other not in the same family?
All of what you have mentioned is contributing, but we want you to really understand that you as a human are passing on, if the child is willing. Again, there is nothing that a soul or a human ever takes on in a lifetime that he has not agreed to or she has not agreed to. Yes. And so whether it is between the parents or the lineage, the child may say, I can do it. Yes, I will take on the alcoholism. I will take on whatever it is that you were not able to transcend. This is something that could be agreed upon. It is part of sometimes the blueprints or the things that humans come to the earth plane to deal with when they're here. But we want you to understand as parent, yes, that primarily you are asking a little bit is, why is it if I've done the same thing with the children that I am raising, that one handles things very well and is very prosperous and the other not so well? And we would tell you because every single soul that is coming to the earth plane, you may be merging together with someone and creating through your genes likenesses in appearances, yes, and bodily structures. And to some degree, there could be some temperament, but all of those are a little randomly, and that is also including the lineage. So you may get a child that is very different, that is much like the grandparents or the parents of the grandparents, yes, because it is all in there, you see.
Yeah.
So we want you to really understand that as parent, you are really bringing in a sovereign being. You are providing, yes, this opportunity through the merging with another to create this bodily human form for this spirit or soul to come into and to experience in, you see. And so when you can really understand that, it would explain to you that you are not as parent 100% responsible or even in control of exactly how that human is going to choose to perceive and believe and then receive upon the earth plane. This is by their agreement. This is by their choosing, you see. And they have chosen you. You are the parent. So they are knowing that perhaps through the vehicle of your husband and yourself, they have chosen you, that they will be able to best explore or expand themselves in the environment that they are providing or getting provided through you, you see. But we want you to understand that many parents will want to take ownership or want to really embody the idea that this child is theirs, it belongs to them, yes. And we are saying you do play a big part in the support of and in the nurturing of them until they are ready to go out on their own. But a big amount of what they are going to do, how they are going to perceive, and the things that they are going to be working on are going to be separate from what you may have intended for them.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Did that answer your question?
It did. Yep. Yep.
It was a long way around our knowing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So as creators, whether we realize it or not. Sometimes we feel as humans that we have to be a certain way or accomplish a certain thing
Mm.
to have value so that others see value in us. Um,
Yes.
can you discuss that a little bit on
Yes.
why we do that as humans and how that plays into our creating
Yes.
abilities?
We are really glad that you brought this up because we were having a conversation just the other day. Robin was with her son and daughter-in-law, and they are
Mhm.
entering a period of time where their children are going to start needing some discipline. Yes, they are a little, one is over 2 years old, and they have another
Mhm.
little one that has arrived. And once in a while, the 2.5-year-old will like to give the little one a whack. Yes,
Mhm.
they can't understand it, and they're a little bit not really knowing what to do. They started out by timing him out. Yes, putting him on a
Yeah.
chair, saying, you are you're a bad boy. I don't know that they use bad boy, but you have done something you should not do. Yes, you are going to sit here now. And the response from the child was really hard to take. Yes, he was very downtrodden. He would cry. Yes. And there was a little bit of a lack of understanding because he is young yet. He is not of the reasoning or reasonability age. Yes. And
Mhm.
so Robin had been pondering this. And we want to explain to humans that self-love is really the most important thing for a human. And it is also the most important thing when it comes to a human being able to manifest. Yes. And it also ties into why humans create characters for the world to view that they are going to be positive about or like about them.
Mhm.
Yes. And
Yeah.
we would tell you it starts early on. And the advice that we gave to them in the raising of their children is quite different than what you might have expected or what has been mainstream. And we told them, we want you to be the new way. We want you to be the new parents. And this is what we told them to do. We want you to know that the reason that the 2.5-year-old is acting up is because he wants to see where the love ends and where the hate starts. He wants to see what is lovable about him, what is acceptable, where is your limit on how much you will love him, you see. And so as he shoves the little one, yes, then they react in this negative state. And now he thinks, I am bad. They don't love me. They are punishing me. They're putting me aside because I have done something. It is shameful. It is wrong. It is bad. See. So what do you do really? You are a parent. Yes. You have this other child that you do not want abused or being smacked by the other one. Yes. And so we gave them this technique, and we would tell you the turnaround has been remarkable. We've told them we want you to parent in love. We want you to immediately go to him as he does something that is not lovable and put your arms around him and tell him you love him and say, do you love your brother? Did you just love your brother? You would be surprised at his response. He would say yes. And they would say, what can you do that would show love? How can you express to him that you love him? Yes. He would immediately go over and hug his head. Yes. Or kiss him. And we are not saying that he may not turn around again in a few hours or the next day and maybe give him another whack. But we would tell you the transformation that has occurred in him because of this way of being has invited more love. He is hardly smacking him at all anymore. He is constantly going over because this positive praise and love from the parents is causing him to want to be more loving. He's offering more love instead of this little bit of jealousy, really, is what he was experiencing that he didn't know how to express. So what a parent is teaching a child is when you discipline them because they're having a natural response to a parent who is now paying so much attention to this other child. It is so important to them. And he feels as though he's being left out. And the second child never, or the third, never experiences this because one is already there. They have already shared or had to share this way, you see. So it is so important for this first child to learn right away that I'm lovable. There's nothing that's not lovable. This is what we are teaching. We're telling every human, you're lovable. There's nothing about you that's not lovable. There's nothing what we're not going to forgive. There's nothing we're going to hold as a human as a reason to devalue you or to somehow decide that you are worth nothing or that you are worth less, you see. So this principle we would highly recommend to anyone who is raising a child because Robin said yesterday as he was at her house, yes, a couple of times he looked at Robin and then he put his hand on the little one and gave just a tiny shove just to see, are you going to love me? She ran over, picked him up, loved him. Yes, I love you. Do you love your brother? She asked. He said, yes. How do you show him? Yes. He immediately went over. He did the love act. Yes. And so we would tell you this is a very effective way of transmitting. And so this is a way that as a parent, you can have a great impact upon your children's value of self by being an exhibitor of always loving him. Source always loves you. As a parent, always love them. Show them that nothing they're going to do is going to change that. Nothing is going to pull you from the love state that you are in for them. Now, it is very important, of course, we cautioned the parents, when you are potty training a child and you are trying to keep them from going in their pants, you are constantly checking, you are constantly with them, you are always offering, yes? And so when you go through this brief period of time, when you are encountering an act with your child that you're not liking, you need to be on it. You need to be right there. You need to constantly be rewarding and going and not overlooking and allowing the other child to be pounced upon and not be looked out for, you see. So why did we give you this, really? Because you asked us the question, and this is where it starts. This is where the not loving starts. And we have to tell you that then a human has to go back, as we are doing now, and trying to enforce or put back into them this idea, you are loved. Yes, you are loved. You made a few mistakes. Life didn't go exactly the way that you had hoped. Doesn't matter, you see. Nobody's going to do it perfect. Everybody is experiencing these, and you see it for this is the best example we can use, because a child is in their innocence, and here they are shoving, biting, doing things that you would deem as wrong, you would deem as not good. Yes, and so this is a human, a tool. It's a natural experience to feel these emotions of separation, but it is your job as a parent to not separate with them, but to hold them together with their source, with your love.
So that possibly then is why these character roles evolve, is maybe from someone not feeling loved and they feel like they need to
prove themselves. From
themselves.
lack of self-love. Yes.
Yes.
It evolves from them not being good enough. Someone has rejected them. Someone has cast upon them. I don't like you. I don't like how you look. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like what you've done. And then they think, oh, well, let me try this way. And then they do it. And then those people confirm, I like you better now. I like you like this. I like it when you're passive. I like it when you're walked on. So then they become this character, or sometimes they will become this dominant force. They will become something people don't like because they are in protection of self, whatever it is. But it is still a character that they invent. And it is because somewhere along the line, they have allowed the view of another in the diminishment of themselves to cause the projection of something that is not authentically them.
Sure. So if you are in your everyday life in encountering people, what is the way that you can kind of decide for yourself if you're seeing an authentic being or you're seeing a character?
You are to be authentic. And in this projection of authenticity, it invites and it pulls from all those that you come into contact to do same, you see.
Yes.
And you are to hold it. And you are to not focus upon or notice or even point out, yes, if it is someone close to you, that you are in your character, you see. Yes. Because once you judge another and once you see another in not love, then you are not loving self, because you are part of the oneness. We explain this all the time. It is why we did a little podcast the other day, and we said one of the best ways that a human can manifest is by, if they have things about themselves they don't like, if they have characters that they've created and they're trying, but they're stuck in their human, this is what trying is. I'm going to be better. I'm going to try. And then they end up not being satisfied with the result, you see. But if a human can finally really just accept these things about themselves, and they can decide to love themselves, and they can cut a little slack to the ones in front of them when perhaps they're stuck in something or a character, and they can just keep portraying this love of self, this admiration. Robin used it the other day on the pickleball court. She decided that she was just going to have fun. It was the first day of sunshine in a long time. It was very nice out. Yes, sometimes she could be a little bit competitive, but she decided today to make her main focus on everyone else and not her. And every time someone hit a good shot, she let it go through her body as though she had done it herself. And she would say to them, I wish I had that shot. Yes, I love what you have done. And the better she got, the more she enjoyed it, and the better everyone felt, and the more authentic everyone felt. And there became this dance or this rhythm upon all four court players, where everybody got into admiration of everybody's shot.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yes.
I have experienced that a little bit too, where sometimes I'll try to do that and it works great, just like what you said. But also I've experienced the other, that sometimes, and it's probably just being the human, you get these icky thoughts in your head. Maybe it's about yourself, or maybe you're thinking about, something that irritated you with somebody, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a state of, oh my, and I know you're going to say,
Yes.
well, at least you're catching it, which is
Yes.
good, because that's the first step. But I catch myself there, and I try to stop myself and think, don't go down that road. Don't
Mm.
think this way.
This is where we want to stop you. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Don't deny the self ever.
Yeah.
Don't try to stop yourself. Yes. Breathe it in. It's my human. My Heidi. She's had some experiences that have caused her to feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
She's not bad. You are not human. It is your view. You are watching your human. It has had life experiences that are real. This is why it came. It has agreed to be an experience for you. Who are you to tell it is wrong for the way that it feels by the experiences it has had? You are there to soothe it. Heidi, why do you have that feeling right now? I get it. Yes. Oh, she'll probably tell you too if you ask. Yes. You will get a connection or an understanding of where this feeling that you are not liking is born from. And then we would offer her the love. Yes. You're just the experiencer. It is understandable that you would feel that way. You are feeling a little diminished right now. Yes. You are feeling a little not good enough, whatever it is. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then in this soothing of the human, what will happen is your human will start to rise. And as your human rises in its belief that you love it, that you are beholding it for the experiences and admiring it for the experiences, and you are not in judgment of it, now you're at the meeting point. You're at the point where this full circle of creation can start to complete itself, and that you can actually plug in or connect to the high part of yourself that's actually funding that tool. But as you become the tool, and as you slowly sink down and you sit in that thick feeling of emptiness, of not liking what you are feeling, you are moving. This is a sign or signal, not about the feeling you are having or even the situation. It is a sign from your high self that you're moving from me. You're separating from me. You're out of my reach now. I can't reach you. And the more the soul and the spirit cannot reach the human, the worse you feel, you see. So we would rather you take the experiencing of whatever it is you are experiencing, like you're saying, you're trying to think about it or get rid of it, but we would like you to just take it out of the equation and think, my human is disconnecting from its source. Let's get back. Let's go back. Yes. Let's just let go. Let's not worry. It's not wrong what you felt. Let's not attach to it. Let's just let it go and then see what happens. All of a sudden, all of the ease will start to come back in, not because you have let the feeling go so much, but you have connected back. You have consciously allowed yourself to align in love of self. And this is how we want humans to do it. Don't get so caught up in the everyday experiences of right and wrong and feel good and not good. And feel as though you have to condemn yourself for them. Just decide that somehow for the experience you've had, it's justified as a human to have these feelings and experiences. Everyone's having them. Just decide you're going to let it go. Out your screen door. I believe you used the term the other day that you are a screen door. Yes. Yeah. Feelings and emotions come in. What happens is you are a being that is wanting to expand. You're wanting to get better. You're wanting to elevate. Let's use that term. Yes. So let it go through your screen door. Don't become it. Don't decide that you in that moment are anything less than the grander you are. You are always this loving, authentic, high vibratory source. You're having human experience. And this is going to cause the bullwhip or the emotions that you're going to not like from time to time. But don't become the human, and don't deny the human either. This is not the way that you are going to get the behavior from it that you're wanting. You're going to get the behavior you're wanting as a human in self-love. That doesn't matter how it works, how it does the experience. You're going to love it anyway, just like we told you with raising your children. There's no limit. There's no reason. And there's no justification in not love. You're going to go to yourself. I love you. Yes. You're going to go to yourself. I love you. Yes. And then pretty soon the human's going to hug you back, and you're going to rise together. And when you rise together, we have told you everything that you have ever dreamed of, everything you have ever wanted in your life you have become the moment you have thought of it or had the desire for it. And when you come together in this embrace of love, when the high self meets the human, now you start to receive all of the things that you are wanting, that you have already become, that you have gone through these experiences for. Now they are yours, you see.
Yep. Yep. I think it would be important, like, at least from my perspective, like, I think when I wasn't aware of all this stuff, and I was, say, angry about something, or I felt yucky, I would just be like so caught up in that I wasn't paying attention to all these little clues. And I think now I'm at a state where, even though sometimes I maybe have the negative thoughts still, or I have the bad feeling about self, I feel like I'm catching it, because
Yes.
I've gotten to a point where I can take a step back and catch it, and I can um, allow myself to feel it a little better. So I would definitely recommend, even if you can't stop the behavior, at least pause and look at why
Yes.
it's happening, and draw attention to why it's happening.
Yes. Make it about you. Make it about you. Make it about you. Yes. We keep telling humans all the time, take the one out of the equation that you feel is the cause of the emotion or feeling you're having, and just decide you are having an emotion and a feeling. Yes. And you are going to let it pass through you, because it is part of the experiencing process. We also did a podcast the other day, and we talked a little bit about where you come from, the pure positive source and energetic level and the high vibratory level that your soul comes through to the earth plane. You're coming into a dense, lower vibratory field of energy, you see. And we wanted to explain that this is where contrast comes from. Some people think it's already here, and we say, you're bringing it here. You're bringing the high vibratory level, and it's running right in or crashing right in to the low, slow vibratory 3D level, where fear and angst and jealousy and depression and lots of these things exist, you see. So it is part of, that's not going to go away. That's part of you and your decision to lift this plane of existence. And we have talked about 5D reality, yes, and the 4D being kind of this ping pong place, or this place where once in a while you get the icky feelings and you drop back down and think, I don't like it here very much, yes, and then you come back up a little bit, and once in a while you go way up, yes, and you get this recognition that you are the creator, you are the one that is designing or bringing your life to yourself. And so we want you to really understand that this process that is going on is one that you agreed to, and it is this whippiness or this bullwhip, this contrast, is not something that you can penalize self for, that you can totally clean up or never experience. We would tell you that some of your little everyday annoyances, like maybe the person that checks you out, or maybe the bank teller, or maybe the guy that operates the elevator, if you're in a really elevated state, all of that could be really pleasant. You could eliminate a lot of the everyday nuances that are irritating to you by the vibratory level. And you could actually be very good at identifying where you're at by these things. So we think that that's a very good idea to look around in your life. How are all these people meeting me? How is my energy feeling when I'm coming into the grocery store, when I'm getting on the bus, when I'm meeting someone for a sport event, or whatever it is I'm doing? Because this is your sign or signal of where your vibratory level is at. And then these little things, maybe they do seem little, but as they start to mount up, they become very creative. And we have talked about this universe that is you, yes, and the more negativity you have swirling you, yes, in your universe, now as you stay in this state of a lower vibratory level, you can start to pick or pull or connect to things that you're really not wanting in your experience, that are not to your pleasure or enjoyment. So we would tell you that to pay a little bit of attention to how these little things are going on in your life, and then make steps to try to admire, yes, appreciate, and to try to increase the number of positive experiences you are having in your experience. And this will make bigger ones come to you that you're liking, and it will yield you away from many things that you're not wanting, that are really a culmination of a lot of this negativity that you haven't picked up on, that's been circling you for quite a while.
Yeah. I would like to just briefly go back and touch on the situation that you were discussing with the grandchildren, and how, rather than discipline, you were recommending offering love. And I think I've been thinking about that kind of the whole time you've been talking about other things, I've been thinking about that because I think that's hugely important. I don't think it's a lot of things that parents are necessarily aware of or doing.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think that it would be a wonderful way to hopefully raise a generation that doesn't feel they need to go into character. And
Yes. This is one of the reasons we have brought this up, because it
that's a
is so
wonderful
important.
tip.
Yes, you could
Hmm.
feel it. We felt you resonate with us. Yes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
Robin said, as she practices it, she is jaw dropped by the response that she has gotten. As she
Hmm.
said, there is a testing a little bit. He doesn't even complete the push. He just puts his hand and looks to her. What are you going to
Hmm.
do? Are you going to not
Hmm.
love me? Are you going to yell at me? Are you going to put me in the chair? Yes.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. She immediately goes to him. Ah, I love you. Yes. Let me confirm it for you. Rubs his head. Do you love your brother? And then he looks, yes. How do you show love? I love you. This is what I am doing. Yes. I am rubbing your head. I am rubbing your back. I'm telling you I love you. This is how I show you I love you. How would you like to show your brother you love him? Yes.
Hmm.
We like this idea of questioning and allowing them to even come up with the suggestion or way that they want to do it. Yes. Oftentimes, this little one, Everin, yes, he will run and get little things and bring it to him, yes, as a token of his love. But let them come up with it. Ah, I like the way you have decided. Sometimes we have told Robin to even then repeat what it is he does. Ah, you have kissed him on the head and you love him. I kiss you on the head now because I love you. Yes. And then this connecting, this understanding starts to form where this becomes a very positive experience. It's much the way potty training can be done. Yes, there can be a reward, or there could be a bad thing that happens to a child that has made a mistake, you see. And we are telling you right now that many of these problems that are originated in humans are starting at a very young age. And it is one of the reasons we've brought this to the attention. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a wonderful point, and I hope a lot of people listen to this and start using that in their child rearing, also grandparents, anybody
Yes.
that has time around children. I think that'd be great.
Yes, it has been a very enlightening experience. And we would tell you that this is what needs to happen. These are the types of steps or changes that are really going to make an impact in your world. It's not necessarily going to happen overnight, yes, but these new ones that have been deposited upon the earth plane, these are the ones. This is what is coming, and this way of training is but a small part. And we are hoping it spread like wildfire. We hope that this video is something that gets a lot of views and that parents can understand that really all a child is doing in their misbehavior is looking at you to see where is the level of love? Where does it stop? We don't want a ceiling to be on it.
Yeah. Well, and you do see that in what we'd call like a naughty or a misbehaved child, where
Yeah.
you might see a parent say, "Oh, he's always or she's always the one being naughty. What kind of
Yes.
trouble did you start now?" And
Yes.
it becomes their reality. They start to
Yes.
act like that because they believe that's who they
This is
are.
how the character becomes created. Yes.
Hmm.
And then many that you are seeing in your world who are committing some terrible atrocities and crimes, this is how they have been viewed. This is how they have been raised or taught to believe, you see. And eventually they become so connected to this character that they have created that they become so disconnected, so far away from their source that they have no understanding of better judgment or the call, let's use that term, or the help really that they could receive to be to feel better or to feel as though they were worthy.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Well, I think that just about covers everything we wanted to discuss today. I really enjoyed it. I think we had a lot of good information. Just a reminder to anyone interested, email your questions to Heidi at athenaintruth.com. And thank you so much to Robin and Athena in Truth for spending time answering questions with us today.
We have enjoyed this interaction with you more than words can say. We would like to tell you, yes, we have a free podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts that you can listen to at your convenience for free whenever you want to. Yes, we are going to be doing these YouTubes. We are hoping with Heidi on a weekly basis. As she said, you are more than willing to send any questions that you are wanting to the email that she has given to you. We also have a website. It is athenaintruth.com, and there are private sessions on there available to anyone who is wanting them. them. We are looking forward to discussing more topics with you in the future. And we hope that we really get some questions from some of our listeners, because it makes for interesting conversation to view other perspectives and have other topics to talk about that may be of interest to humans. We thank you again. Good day.
Thank you.